Hi friends, I hope that you are doing amazing. I am filming a little video today. It's more of a sit down video. I haven't really been able to vlog with all my exams, but I wanted to make a little wrap up of all of the art, which is either the books, the movies, the series, anything that I've been enjoying lately. I have some pretty good things to share, so let's get going. I have here all my notes because I have prepared this video. I don't want it to be like rambling and saying nothing. So let's start with the first book that I finished, and it was Nevermore by Jessica Townsend. I am going to first read you a summary of the book because if I start making a summary of each book I want to present myself, I will get lost and it will last forever. So, Morgan Crow was born on Eventide, a day that means two things. First, she is cursed, and second, she's destined to die at midnight on her 11th birthday. But when her final day arrives, Morgan doesn't die. Instead, she's saved at the last moment by a mysterious man who takes her to the magical world of Nevermore. There, she has to face a huge challenge, joining the most prestigious organization in the city, the Secretive Wondrous Society. To do so, she must compete against other candidates who all have incredible and unique talents, while Morgan doesn't seem to have any special ability at all. This book was very nice. I rated it 4.25 stars. In my opinion, it's a story that works really great for both children and adults. It has multiple layers of reading and I don't think it ever talks down to the reader. And even though the characters are really young, they're really enjoyable to follow because they are well thought. What I really loved about this book is the little spark of magic here and there, particularly in the hotel that Morgan lives in. That was a really good book and I'm looking forward to reading the next book. The next book I want to talk about is The Island of the Flying Pigs. In French, it's called L'île des cochons volants by Marie Miotte. So, let me read you the little summary. In the middle of the fjords live Léon, a dreamy young boy who loves adventure, and Chonchon, his pet sheep, who is much more cautious and realistic. One day, while they are heading to the village, their quiet life is interrupted when a small pig falls from the sky. Far away from its home, the pig needs their help. It has to find its family before the great migration of the flying pig begins. This book, I rated it 3.75 stars. It was a really lovely little children's graphic book. And I believe that what makes the originality of this book is the diversity and the cuteness of the characters you follow. I mean, a flying pig, isn't that so adorable? I read it in only one sitting and I really had a nice moment. Moving on to this book, which is Room by Senbon Umishima. This is a Japanese name. I'm sure I pronounced it wrong. I did my best. This book is actually a collection of colorful illustrations of daily scenes. It doesn't really tell a story, but that's not the point. I think it has to be read and considered as an art book, and I'm pretty sure that's how it's marketed anyways. The illustrations are extremely colorful. The colors are vibrant. It has everything I loved. I loved especially the little details in the different rooms that I really like to have in my home, so it really talked to me and I loved it. Obviously it was a 5 stars. As you might have noticed, we are starting to have a pattern there because here is another graphic book. I devoured graphic books, to be honest. This one is Sauvage and it's written by Rosalia Radosti. It's in Italian, so I believe it's said Rosalia Radosti, hopefully. Let me read you the little summary. In the distant kingdom of Val des Roses, a girl named Sauvage is born. As the daughter of the king and queen, she grows up very differently from what is expected of a princess. She loves riding horses, practicing archery and exploring the forest. As she grows older, she becomes a strong and rebellious young woman. When she agrees to get married, her potential suitors quickly run away because they are intimidated by her personality. Until she meets Roderick, a charming young man who shares the same passions as her. The future seems perfect, but Sauvage's story isn't a fairy tale. Sauvage is the name of the girl. In English, Sauvage means wild. So that gives you a pretty good idea. This book was a 3.25 stars for me. I really enjoyed it, mainly because of the illustrations. I have noticed that I really love Italian artists. If I'm really honest, this story doesn't have anything really groundbreaking, but the illustrations were so beautiful that it really elevated the whole experience for me. So yeah, that was a pleasant treat. Moving on to a book that is really special and dear to my heart. It was published a few weeks ago. I'm talking about the graphic adaptation of The Winx Club. This is volume 1. The title is Welcome to Alfea, and it's written by Giorgio Pizzi Michele and Gige, I don't know. It's again Italian illustrators and narrators. Let me read you the summary now. Bloom is this person. Bloom is a 16-year-old girl who loves reading and dreams of living in the magical worlds she discovers in books. But one day, she finds herself in the middle of a fight between an ogre and a fairy. During this battle, she discovers magical powers she never knew she had. The fairy she saves, Stella, this person, reveals that Bloom is actually a fairy too and invites her to join Alfea, the best school in the magic dimension. There, Bloom discovers an incredible new world filled with magical creatures, witches, specialists, and most importantly, a group of amazing new friends, the Winx Club. This was obviously a 5 stars read for me. This book has been my whole childhood. It reminded me of all the times my mom and I went all over Paris to buy the books second-handed. At the time I was reading the novels, and it was called La Belle Bibliothèque Rose. It was a collection of tiny little books, each telling a story of the Winx Club, and I loved it so much. The characters actually felt pretty developed, even though I expected them to be impulsive and maybe not very well thought, or maybe a little bit childish, but I was really surprised that they are actually interesting to follow and not so unthoughtful, if you know what I mean. That made me think that the story didn't age badly at all, which is even more enjoyable as a reader. Like, you evolve with the characters as a child, and when you are a grown-up, you realize that, well, actually it was not only a childish thing, they are actually enjoyable. Also, there weren't any bad comments or sexist comments or anything like that, which is like, it's the least you can do, but since it's almost, I don't know, I believe it's 22 years old now, there could have been these things. And most of all, I absolutely loved being reunited with the characters I loved in my childhood, so yes, that's a favorite of mine. And last but certainly not least is this absolute masterpiece. It is called Rebis, and it is written and illustrated by, let me read because it's Italian names again, Irene Marcenesi and Claudia Migliaccio, I think. This, let me tell you the summary first. In the Middle Ages, Martino is born with albinism in a community where anything different is seen as something dangerous. Rejected by his father and bullied by the other children in his village, he is forced to leave and find his own path. Deep in the forest, he meets Viviana, a woman considered a witch. Both outsiders, they immediately understand each other. It was a 5 stars for me. It is a new favorite of mine. I am looking really forward to reading the next book that these two persons have made. It is called Linden. I just saw it in the library. I am going to buy it. Don't you worry. This graphic novel is absolutely stunning, not only in the illustration sense of things, but also in the storytelling. Even though it's a single volume, it tells the story from beginning to end without feeling rushed at all. Everything is woven together so seamlessly that the whole reading experience seems super smooth. It's really poetic, and what I especially enjoyed is that it doesn't feel the need to explain everything. It leaves room for the reader's imagination without letting him feel lost. It's not at all confusing. It moved me more than what I would have expected, to be honest. And the themes that it explores, especially diversity in all of its forms, are so well thought out. It doesn't seem forced. It doesn't seem like it's in there because it has to be. It's just seamlessly in the story. So yes, that is a new favorite. as you might have understood. Alright, we are now done for the books. It was a big stack, and honestly I'm really happy and glad and proud that I was able to read so much, because with the exams and all, I was kind of not prioritizing reading. Now, let's move on to movies and series that I watched. The first thing I watched was The Devil Wears Prada 2. Let me read you the synopsis quickly. Fresh out of college, Andrea moves to New York and gets what seems like her dream job. But as the assistant of the extremely demanding editor-in-chief of a famous fashion magazine, she quickly discovers that the fashion world is not as glamorous as it looks. This is the sequel of the first film that made everyone talk, obviously. I believe this film was made for the fans of the first film. I was a bit worried that it would be cheesy, but it wasn't. It was a very pleasant experience. It was not groundbreaking, but it was nice to be in this universe, in this world again, and it was also talking about more recent topics and making fun also of the industry. Next up is a Korean series, and it's called Teach You a Lesson. Quick synopsis. Because of growing discipline crisis in schools, the government creates a special team to restore respect for teachers and deal with difficult situations involving students and parents. I absolutely loved this show. It's a Korean show. I watched it in Korean, which was even better for me to practice a little bit. And trigger warning, if you are very sensitive to physical violence, there is some inside, so be wary of that. Now that it's said, it was so satisfying to watch, honestly. What I really appreciated is that it shines a light on things that are often put under the carpet in terms of education. It is not afraid to explore how children can feel really entitled, how parents can act as though they are untouchable, as in the customer is always right kind of mentality. And what is really satisfying is that the show flips that dynamic on its head and lets its character do the things everyone hopes to do or wants to do but obviously can't. And I found that so incredibly refreshing and satisfying. The main cast, which is made of 2 investigators, their assistant and the Minister of the Education, they are all super nice to follow. They are attaching and they are all linked together in a cute way, and they have stories entangled, and it was very pleasant. Also, I'd like to mention that each episode takes place in a different place so that it doesn't feel boring or tiring or repetitive. It allows the show to talk about different topics without having to link the episodes together. We are following the same team but in different situations, and that makes the experience even more addictive. And the last series that I watched is Off Campus. It's a series that was adapted from the novels by L. Kennedy, and the first series is the adaptation of the book that is called The Deal. Quick synopsis. Hannah is an excellent student with an incredible talent for singing. But when it comes to guys and dating, she completely loses her confidence. Garrett, on the other hand, is the star hockey player at their college. At their college, but his grades are so bad that he's at risk of losing his spot on the team. So, they make a deal. Hannah agrees to tutor him, and in return, Garrett helps her catch the attention of her crush. But what starts as a simple arrangement soon changes both of their lives. I actually didn't plan on watching it initially. However, it has been getting so much attention on social media that I wanted to give it its chance, so I watched the series. Or I should say I devoured the series. In general, I am really not a big fan of romance. I have trouble liking romance that are not taking place in a fantasy world. Most of the time, I get bored easily, and I read Briar University Volume 1 of L. Kennedy and I didn't like it. So I was a bit worried about this show, but I gave it its chance, and in the end I found that it didn't fall into the cliche, or even if there were cliche, they were not too heavy and they did not take me out of the story they were well made. And I think that the strength of this show is that they took the book, they kept the good stuff, they removed the problematic things, and they made it into a show. From the experience of people who have both read and seen the series, they really say that that's what happened. And that is what made the whole experience not overwhelming, not cheesy. I was not cringing, you know? And to be honest, I was very happy to like a college romance because lots of readers enjoy that and I was not part of them. And to feel the excitement that maybe they feel when they read this kind of books, it was nice to experience. That being said, I am not going to read the books because I think I know that I would not take as much pleasure. However, I will for sure watch the second season, which I am very excited about because it's going to follow, if I'm right, 2 characters that I really like. Okay, we're all done for these kind of things. Now I just wanted to share a YouTube channel. It's the YouTube channel of Grub Scrub. It's the YouTube channel of a girl who makes tons of DIYs, especially DIYs with what she calls making DIY from trash or something like that. And she uses not complicated material or things that are expensive, and she makes such nice things. I love watching her videos when I'm crafting myself. She has a very nice personality and that is very pleasant to follow. And last but not least, I wanted to share the 2 mail clubs that I have subscribed to and received in June. The first one being the mail club of Pung. You receive this little envelope and inside you have a letter written by the artist, which is quite big, as you can see, and you have a spot the difference game. There were also postcards, so you have one, if I'm not wrong, this one is especially made for the mail club, and then you have 3 times the same one, that is a copy of an old illustration that she has made. And in addition, you have tiny stickers that come with it. This one I am not the biggest fan of, but in the previous mails that she sent, we had these ones which I much preferred, and we also had other illustrations like these ones. That was my 3rd time receiving her mail club. I unsubscribed because I want to try something new, but I was very happy with what I got. And one other mail club that I received, and I have to say, this one is really, really good. And I was especially glad to get the June's mail club because it was centered off the topic of the Witch Hat Atelier, which is a manga series that I love. Let me show you the first volume because I have it just right there. It is this series of manga and it is beautiful. And so the art that she sent us, it's so pretty. So first we have this big illustration, absolutely adorable. I love it. Then we have a sticker sheet, but the stickers are of an exceptional quality. It is this sheet, and look at all the details and how cute this is. And last but not least, we have an amazing bookmark with great colors, great illustrations. That was lovely. Okay, so that was the wrap up for me. I also have grown a lot my Sylvanian collection, but it has gone so big that I need to make a special video, so that should come eventually. I wish you an excellent rest of your day and I will see you soon. Sweet kisses!